Food Banks Canada is reporting that up to 25% of Canadians, 1 in 4, may be living below the poverty line. This is a number significantly higher than current national estimates. Now, to help break down the report, we're joined by Richard Mattern. He's the research director at Food Banks Canada. Richard, we appreciate this. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So let's get into the numbers. 25% is an extremely high number, much higher than what StatsCan is reporting, more than double, in fact. How did you come up with this number, and how significant is it?
So this study looked at an indicator called the Material Deprivation Index. And the lead of the study from the University of Ottawa, Joranda Naughton, has been doing this work, and she was the academic lead for this project. We looked at this indicator, which has been used in Europe for decades. And what it does is it asks people a list of 11 questions where we ask what people can't afford out of a list of these 11 essential items. And these are items that Canadians would deem essential, or the majority of Canadians would deem essential. And they include things like being able to get around your community, being able to afford to buy a gift for a child, being able to afford clothes for a job interview. And out of those 11 items, 25% of Canadians said they couldn't afford 2 or more of them. And that means that they are very likely, according to this measure, to be living at a poverty level standard of living.
StatsCan is reporting, what, a little more than 9%? But correct me if I'm wrong, but as you break this down further, while 25 is the average, 44.5% of single-parent families, 30% of Canadians aged 18 to 30. It goes much higher when you break down the demographics.
These trends are also being seen, keep in mind, in other surveys that StatsCan are completing that go beyond just looking at income. So food insecurity stats, which showing amongst the population, almost a quarter of the population experiencing food insecurity in the last 12 months. And in those subgroups, you're seeing higher rates as well. The 18 to 30 category, we're seeing higher rates of those age groups at food banks because in many cases they're working less stable hours and they're paying higher than average rent. So all these things are coming together to show certain groups are disproportionately affected.
Richard, which part of the country is worse off right now?
Well, based on this study, so this study had a sample of 4,600 Canadians. So what it's showing is that there's no significant differences between the provinces based on our sample size. However, there does seem to be a significant difference between urban and rural areas, with rural areas and remote areas actually experiencing higher rates of deprivation.